have you join us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguala. President Tinubu has approved the setting up of the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Development Fund to bridge infrastructure deficit in the country. We'll bring you full details of this in subsequent bulletin. With on to other issues, the Office of the National Security Advisor has confirmed that Nadim Anjarwalla, the suspect in the ongoing criminal probe into the activities of Binance in Nigeria, has escaped from lawful custody. A statement by the head strategic communication in the Office of the National Security Advisor, Zakari Mujinyawa, says the NSA has taken steps to apprehend the suspect in collaboration with Interpol. Preliminary investigation shows that Mr. Anjarwalla, who holds 2 passports, fled Nigeria using a smuggled passport, and the personnel responsible for the custody of the suspect have been arrested and undergoing thorough investigation. Recall that the federal government, like other governments around the world, has been investigating money laundering and terrorism financing transactions perpetrated on the Binance currency exchange platform. And now to a very critical issue also. After going through medical checks to ascertain their health fitness, I'm talking about the released Kuriga abducted students who are now at the government house in Kaduna. Well, they were handed over by the military and are expected to reunite with their parents who are anxiously waiting to receive them. They were rescued in the early hours of Saturday. In the next... Okay, we have to pick up with that. So let's join our correspondent, Umar Ajingi. He has to give us an update, live update there from Kaduna. Umar, I was going to skip that, but thank God you're on live. Umar, please tell us the situation report. Earlier, we saw the live broadcast when the governor of Kaduna State, Senator Obasani, was addressing, the released students. So please fill us in.
Yes, Ruth, exactly. The much-awaited time has finally come. The released abducted students of Kuriga have been finally handed over to Kaduna State government by the GOC 1 Division of the Nigerian Army, who during his remark says the military successfully rescued 137 of these students, contrary to earlier report on some section of the social media that the students abducted were 287. He actually cleared that doubt this afternoon. Physically here, the released students that were handed over to the state government are 131. 6 of them are still receiving medical attention. They are in a medical facility with the military, still receiving urgent medical attention, out of which 5 are females and 1 is one of their male students. And unfortunately, out of the 138 that were rescued, including their teacher, the teacher unfortunately died while he is in captivity. The state governor, Senator Obasani, during his remarks, appreciates the effort of the military for this great achievement of rescuing these students, appreciating the effort of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the National Security Advisor, and as well other stakeholders who have made significant contributions during this rescue mission. This is a great day indeed in Kaduna route, because it is a huge relief, not only to the state government or to the parent of these victims. Even we journalists that have been following the trend of events covering these issues from day one, we are quite excited seeing these kids today in high spirit, and they are very happy that they are free now to be reunited with their families.
You just, hit the nail on the head. You can only imagine the trauma, these students have gone through, and the pain, the parents are feeling, when they were away. But good news, and I'm sure very shortly you will tell us, actually, if the parents have arrived at the government house, where from your report, the military is supposed to hand them over to the state government, who will in turn hand over to the parents. Have they arrived? How are they feeling? What is the excitement like? like? Please tell us.
Well, for now, the military have handed them over to the state government. Any moment from now, we're expecting the state government to hand them over to their parents. But anyway, the governor, during his remarks, says these children need to relax a little. You know the kind of trauma they have passed through. They've been in these bandits' hands for quite a while now, more than 2 weeks. So they need to really check them medically and then at least to counsel them for them to have this psychological relief to be able to at least forget some of their experiences probably before they will be reunited with their parents. Well, they are now in the custody of the Kaduna State government, and we're sure they will be handed over to their parents who, like you said earlier, are at the moment very anxious to receive their children's roots.
Thank you so much, Omar Ajengi, for that update. And we can only pray that the worst doesn't happen again and our children in schools continue to be safe. Thank you for the good work, Omar. Well done.
Thank you very much, Ruth.
All right. And still from the education, I was saying, in the next few weeks, the Ministry of Education will start taking data of all schools from primary to tertiary level. Numbers of pupils, students, teachers, lecturers and staff. Now this is coming from the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Babman, at a 2-day workshop on implementation, collation, harmonization and reportage of presidential priority ministerial deliverables and roadmap for the education sector. The focus is to ensure that all parastatals deliver on their mandates for the overall interest of the country.
That data will help us advise the state governors who are in charge of those schools, so that when we intervene, we know where we are intervening. The same thing with the schools, the children, the students. We will know proportion of girls to boys in every school and then the whole country, just from our dashboard in Abuja here, or the governor dashboard from his own state, or the local education authority secretary from the dashboard in his own local government, be able to provide that information from his own local government.
Of parastatals signed a bond to ensure that heads of desk deliver on this mandate. Teaching and learning experiences in the 21st century are evolving at an unprecedented rate, driven by technological advancements, shifting demographics and evolving global challenges. Well, stakeholders in the education sector say continuous curriculum reform has been considered a necessary measure to assist schools, especially universities, in responding to a fast-changing world. This was discussed as the Nigerian Universities Commission collaborates with the British Council on enhancing curriculum in Nigerian universities with the implementation of the recently developed core curriculum and minimum academic standards.
Fostered over the years to continuously attune the Nigerian university system to provide, the skills, requisite skills to implement new policies and paradigm shifts. And in this case, is a core curriculum minimum academic standard, which is the flagship, signature innovation of the NUC to bring Nigerian universities to speed, to put them on the world map of contemporary curriculum.
So we felt that the curriculum in the Nigerian university system requires stakeholders to look at it. Is it really, addressing the immediate need in the Nigerian education system? Is it responding to the issue of employability, entrepreneurship, so that students, when they come out of the university, they are equipped with the right skills?
At the end of the workshop, relevant stakeholders and participants from universities across the country will be better equipped to implement the CCMAS and related innovations to contribute to the future of education. We'll move from education to health. The federal government is reassuring Nigerians of quality healthcare delivery system and state-of-the-art infrastructural facilities in federal government-owned health institutions across the country. Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, gave the assurance while handing over an oxygen power plant to the Federal Medical Center, Idiaba, Abeokuta State.
The Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, who expressed the commitment of the federal government to provision and expansion of healthcare infrastructure, notes that the oxygen plant will go a long way in assisting FMC Abeokuta to meet the oxygen needs of Nigerians using the facility. Represented by the Director of Hospital Services, Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Jimoh Salaudeen, the minister assured of more healthcare facilities across the country.
You will realize that no minister mentioned something as regards to the issue of cancer. About 6 zones in the country are going to benefit from equipment that will be helping in managing cancer. So as regards to all these initiatives, expect more.
Financier of the project, Global Fund Initiative, represented by Mark Eddington, commended FMC Abeokuta, Ogun State and Nigeria for the sustained effort towards the establishment of a sturdy healthcare infrastructure to serve Nigerians.
The last 10 years in particular, we have seen some really good results. We've seen people on antiretroviral therapy living with HIV go from about 15% to over 80%. We've seen TB active case finding go from probably one of the lowest in the world. But overall, we've seen receptivity. But the most important thing for the Global Fund is we're seeing results.
Global Fund came along and they've supported us. They provided lots of cylinders of oxygen for us, but they've now made it more sustainable by ensuring that we now have oxygen plants, and not only having plants, the oxygen is piped to the patient's bedside.
Mobility mortality associated with lack of oxygen will be greatly reduced. So we are very grateful to the federal government, Global Fund and the state governor.
Installation of the oxygen power plant was conceived in 2020 in response to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic and now being implemented as a proactive measure to prevent the emergence of similar pandemics in the country.
Yemi Dalemo there reporting. From the legislative scene, President of Nigeria's Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has called on the International Parliamentary Union to lend a strong voice to the restoration of lasting peace in war-torn Gaza. Akpabio made the call while contributing to discussions at the ongoing 148th session of the International Parliamentary Union Assembly holding in Geneva, Switzerland. He said it is a time for nations to rise above sentiments and invoke the spirit of humanity by doing all that is required to bring sustainable peace to the region. Akpabio says some of the resolutions should include access to humanitarian aid, restoration of normal life to Gaza, as well as meetings on a permanent truce. The House of Representatives says it is following up on the state of preparedness of key players to be involved in the conduct of national census when rescheduled. To this end, an investigative hearing on the money expended for the planned 2023 census is ongoing by the House Committee on Population. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
In November 2023, the House of Representatives deliberated on the census matter. This followed a motion by Dominic Okafor calling on the House to investigate the 200 billion naira alleged to have been expended on the postponed 2023 population and housing census by the National Population Commission.
Investigate how and where and why.
This investigative hearing seeks, among other things, to provide accurate information on the postponement and all petitions laid by lawmakers, individuals and civil societies on the matter.
We have been on our toes preparing for the conduct of the census, and we've carried out these activities and we're almost on the verge of conducting census in May when it was postponed to the time that the new administration has come in and settled down and take ownership in the preparation for the census.
After we go through this exercise, which is the spending, if you are able to justify to Nigerians that you have utilized this money judiciously.
The committee therefore resolved to carry out on-the-spot assessment to the Commission in Abuja and other 36 states of the Federation with a view to having a best census. The last national census was conducted in 2006. From the National Assembly, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
All right, let's find out what's happening in Lagos. Michael is set to guide us on that.
Thank you, Ruth. Investing in the processes and technologies that will enhance Nigerians' trajectory growth in the maritime business will drive innovation and make the country competitive on the global stage. The Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency stated this in Lagos while emphasizing on the importance of a more encompassing approach to developing shipping in the country. Beyond establishing a solid platform for the development of shipping business, using various instruments like regulations, promotion, and fostering implementation of the core values for advancing indigenous participation in maritime trade in the country, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has in the last decade focused on the 4 concepts of maritime security, which are marine safety, sea power, blue economy, and resilience. The successes are visible, with the number in the cases of piracy and crime at sea showing a downward trend from what it was in 2018, and this change in direction, which is in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, will be driven by innovation.
Our mandate to regulate the maritime industry, promote safety, security at sea, and develop the Nigerian shipping industry is not only vital to the economic prosperity of our nation, Nigeria, but also to the well-being of our people and sustainability of the planet.
The goal going forward is about efficiency, but more premium will be placed on environmental sustainability.
We must ensure that our maritime operations adhere to the highest standards of safety and security, protecting the lives of seafarers, passengers, and cargoes.
While the Gulf of Guinea continues to breathe a sigh of relief from piracy and other attacks, courtesy of the Deep Blue platform, the expectation is high that the new Director General will fast-track the process for more ships flying the Nigerian flag to sail across the region. About 350 Lagos residents drawn from 5 divisions of the state have been empowered with various vocational tools that will help reduce poverty and foster economic growth, especially among the vulnerable and less privileged in the society. SA1 reports that this initiative of the wife of the Lagos State Governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, is part of our commitment to the well-being and prosperity of every individual in the state.
Residents, including widows, persons living with disabilities, and the less privileged, now have a ray of hope as the First Lady of Lagos State and wife of the Lagos State Governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, put smiles on faces of the vulnerable and less privileged in the society by providing empowerment support with vocational tools ranging from hairdressing kits, popcorn machines, tailoring machines, amongst others, to improve their quality of life. One of the beneficiaries, Sonia Olu Abdurrahman, a visually impaired person who is into soap making, says,
"Very happy and excited that I can now do my work.
I have learned this work, but no equipment to use. But from today, I'm happy that I have this, so I will work with it.
I'm hoping to start the food business with my mom and my cousins.
And I will make everything possible to save money and also empower people around me."
Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, while presenting the tools to the beneficiaries, appealed to individuals and private organizations to cushion the efforts of government at this critical period by rendering support to deserving individuals.
Also aware that these things, the prices are going up every day. So it will be very, very unfair, for you to get this thing and then just sell it off. Please use it and also use it to teach somebody else. This mega empowerment will further strengthen the bond between our people and the government, as well as accelerate greater economic growth. It is a catalyst for change, a beacon for hope for all those striving to break the chains of poverty and inequality.
Challenges will come, but be strong-minded and be positive that I'm going somewhere.
The empowerment scheme of the First Lady of Lagos State is the 5th in series. In Lagos, S.A. Awamaka, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide continues in Jos after this break. Do stay.
Fellow Nigerians, it is a good thing to be Nigerian. Good news! The Office of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is organizing the National Fabric Competition, the #One Nigeria Unity Fabric Competition. The aim is to create a fabric design that would be indigenous to Nigeria, showcasing our culture and unity. This competition is looking out for creativity, concept, and the message of unity. Open to Nigerian youths, both male and female, between the ages of 15 and 25 years. And guess what? You can apply wherever you are in the world as long as you are Nigerian. The winner of this competition goes home with a cash prize of 25 million naira. Are you sure I will not apply for this competition? Submission of entries close on Sunday, 30th of June 2024. Submit your entries by sending pictures of your designs via email to unityfabric.ofl24@statehouse.gov.ng, making sure you capture all parts of your designs. Together, let us unite Nigeria!
The Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, invites you to a maiden spokesperson summit with the theme, Change Narratives, Change Society. The summit will hold on 26th and 27th of March 2024. Venue, International Conference Center, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. daily. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, Chairman of the event, Kwara State's Governor and Chairman of Nigeria's Governors Forum, His Excellency Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, CON. Chief Host, Mohammed Idris. Host, Dr. Ike Neliaku. For inquiries, call Dr. Suli Yao Suli. National Spokesperson Summit, redefining communication strategies for enhanced national reputation. Announcer, Stanley Ogadigo, Director, Public Relations, NIPR.
Well guided away by Silvina. It's a nice touch by Tell. Oh, what a goal! That is outstanding! It's Adeyemi's still. Adeyemi's shot is absolutely glorious. Musiala dancing. He's done brilliantly! Martin gets clear for Dortmund to wrap it up, and that's exactly what he's done.
Sportybet sponsors coverage of the German Bundesliga.
No City player near him, and Raheem Sterling checks back and scores against his former club.
Possession again, and Lerma's got it, and he can have a crack this time. Oh! Wow! You've just seen something very, very special.
Sportybet sponsors coverage of the English Premier League.
Thanks for joining us in Jos. Plateau State government is calling for greater synergy with the federal government on emergency management response. Governor Caleb Mutfwang stated this in Jos while inaugurating firefighting truck donated to the state government by the federal government. Ijama Ozemena has details.
The firefighting truck has 500 liters water capacity and 100-liter chemical components with the ability to navigate terrains that cannot be penetrated by the regular firefighting truck. The truck will be positioned at a strategic location in the state capital where there is high risk of fire incident.
And it's also an advanced party in fighting fire because the fire truck, the regular fire truck, is not as swift as it in movement. This rapid response firefighting truck will be positioned at strategic points in Jos, that is on our major highways, at major filling stations, at the market where there is a high risk of fire occurrence.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang, who was visibly happy over the development, commended the Controller General of the Federal Fire Service for considering Plateau State among the benefiting states to get one out of the 15 modern firefighting trucks in the country.
I want to implore the officers and men who will be making use of this vehicle, please and please, let's ensure that we maintain a culture of excellence.
The governor pledged to ensure adequate training of personnel for efficient service delivery. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, along with the Industrial Training Fund, is developing a curriculum for artisans to be fully equipped for both local and international markets. Ndayang and Debegyang has details.
The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is asking the Industrial Training Fund to draw up a manual that will be used to train artisans across the country to compete favorably with their counterparts across the world. Gathered at the Industrial Training Fund headquarters in Jos are master artisans drawn from different skills and crafts to develop an operational guideline that will help the industry equip artisans with requisite knowledge that will launch them to the global market.
For us here, we'll be developing a curriculum, like a training guide and manual, to support all our people and artisans, especially in the construction industry.
It's an amazing idea because it's going to bring us under one umbrella and it's going to make us to get drilled in such a way that will be good enough.
So this program is actually aimed at brushing them up to bring them to a certain level where they can operate and compete locally and internationally and become employable and can also be on their own.
Director General of the ITF, Dr. Hafiz Ogun Oluwatoyin, representative says the artisans through the Skill Up program will learn skills and value reorientation.
The Trade Association, the Sector Skill Council, and we are still meeting because in the super model, you are very paramount.
The curriculum design and development is imperative to the success of this program.
The program tagged Skill Up Artisans attracted experts from different fields. In Jos, Indenyan and the Abagyang, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Jos. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Ruth.
Thank you, Mary. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria says it appreciates public understanding and concerns over the 2024 Hajj fair for intending pilgrims. In a statement by Assistant Director, Public Affairs, Fatima Sanda Usara, NACON clarifies that due to shifts in date and fluctuations in dollar-naira rate, Nigerian pilgrims would now be saddled with an increase of 1.98 million naira in addition to Hajj cost, despite having paid the fixed fare of about 4.9 million naira. Intending pilgrims are advised to proceed and pay the latest by 11:59 p.m. That will be for 28th March 2024. Affected pilgrims, on the other hand, are advised to visit their respective state pilgrims boards to confirm their status. Yobe's State Governor, Mai Malabuni, reiterates that the law against tree felling in the state is still in force as government intensifies efforts to plant more trees to combat desertification and encroachment in line with the state's climate change action plan. The governor made the commitment while receiving a report from Yobe's state delegation on COP28 conference held in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
The 8th meeting of the Conference of the Parties known as COP28, summoned by the United Nations last year and attended by about 85,000 participants in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, was adjudged not only to be the biggest of its kind, but was a major step towards reducing global carbon emissions to the barest minimum. Here is the head of Yobe's delegation to COP28 and the Speaker of the State Assembly, Chiroma Buba Mashio, presenting a report about the conference to Governor Wuni, after which the legislator, alongside other members of the delegation, highlighted some of the takeaways from the international conference, some recommendations that will be beneficial to the state.
The delegation met with the officials of Pali Arts, who are development partners in the area of transforming systems. To safeguard the natural world, they combine and create new and proven technologies to successfully achieve system change.
RAM stands for Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project. It is actually an initiative of the federal government aimed at improving rural access and agricultural marketing in participating states while strengthening their financial and capacity base.
After carefully listening to all recommendations made by members of the delegation, Governor Buni makes the following commitment.
I have listened carefully to the recommendations proposed by the delegation. I assure you that I will carefully look into it with a view to implement them where possible and as our resource permits.
The state chief lawmaker also presented to the governor an award of excellence as Yobe emerges best state in Subnational Audit Efficacy Index on accountability and transparency in public funds for the year 2023. In the Matru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Kogi State, known as the Confluence State due to the presence of rivers Niger and Benue, has abundant human and natural resources. Fully harnessing these resources could maximally improve the state's fortunes. Now, one notable asset is the confluence point of the two rivers, which many believe could be a lucrative tourist attraction site that is if properly developed. Solomon Ayedehi reports on the confluence as a possible tourist destination.
Established in 1991, Kogi State, located in north-central Nigeria, possibly derives its name from the Hausa word Kogi, associated with water. Widely regarded as Nigeria's most centrally situated state, it shares borders with 9 neighboring states and the Federal Capital Territory. Lokoja, the town at the confluence of the Niger and Benue rivers, serves as the state capital. Kogi State is not merely a meeting point of 2 major rivers, but also a convergence of history, people, and opportunities.
It doesn't stop at just the confluence of rivers Niger and Benue. It is also a confluence of the entire peoples of Nigeria. People come around to take advantage of the vast economic opportunities that we have to do business, to trade, to do some other things.
We can tap in on this massive resource of water, to better our lots.
These characteristics, among others, render the state distinctive with many landmarks, tourist sites, and notable establishments bearing the name Confluence, such as NTA Lokoja, known as the Confluence Station. Despite its strategic position as a gateway to various parts of the nation and its recognized potential as a tourist destination, previous administrations' efforts to develop it into a world-class tourist hub have fallen short.
It's supposed to be a blessing in abundance, but we've not been able to tap into it as a government, and then private sectors should also look at it and see how they can partner the government and also come in by putting in place these infrastructures to ensure that we begin to make abundant use of the confluence of the rivers Niger and Benue that is located in Lokoja.
Effective leadership is paramount for development. tourism enthusiasts, and the people of Kogi State are optimistic that Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo's new administration will rise to the challenge and initiate the necessary measures to revitalize the confluence area. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
Well, if you visited Lokoja before, you understand how blessed we are in Nigeria. And the confluence point actually is remarkable. Aside that, we have other tourist destinations there in Lokoja. But I'm not the one to give the insight. Let's join our correspondent, Solomon, live from Lokoja. He's at the Confluence Hotel premises there. Solomon, can you hear me? Okay, great.
I'm with you.
Okay, give us an insight into some of the challenges, hindering development to making this, particular destination or that tourist site in Lokoja a place where tourists can come and explore.
Better understanding of what the confluence is. I've decided to move inward, and I'm standing by the bank of the confluence of rivers Niger and Benue. Behind me, you can see a desert there. Behind that desert is River Benue, and behind me is River Niger. And in front of that desert is the confluence of rivers Niger and Benue. And if you look at it critically, the potential of this place is massive. The economic potential of the confluence of rivers Niger and Benue is so massive that if government or private sector key into the development of tourism, leveraging on the confluence, of course, Kogi State has no business with poverty. However, talking about why the potential is not developed, I want to believe that government policy, not supported by political will, is one of the major factors. Government will tell you they will do this, they will do that, but they are not consistent with those things they say they will do. And people are not too confident in that, and as such, it's affecting why this place is not developed. We also have lack of infrastructure. Of course, if you look at behind me is a massive water, and of course, if it is developed, particularly dredging, the river needs to be dredged, and government need to do a lot of things to ensure. So, government need to partner private sector to develop this place for the interest of the people of Kogi State and Nigeria as a whole.
Indeed, there's so much to harness and leverage on. We have a lot of resources that just needs that little push, that tap. Thank you, Solomon Ayedehi from Lokoja there. Well, it is a redefining moment and a paradigm shift in the business-as-usual syndrome in the art of politics, which is pulling weights in favor of the women folk, especially where emotional exploitation becomes the order of the day. In a book titled Politics, Sex and Power, authored by Adora Onyechere, comes with a louder voice, which appears to be agitating for equality and a level playing ground for all genders. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
Our politics is an emergency, for without this, Nigeria's democracy is not only at stake.
A moderate volume book with a striking title is gradually bouncing back to the marketplace of politics with chapters and pages that expose gender negativity. Gathered here are seasoned politicians and academic doyens, all harnessing views in changing the ugly narratives against women and projecting equality.
The idea to use the book to demystify the stereotypes that limited women were so essential. Going ahead, I also looked at the issue of true leadership and true politicking.
A woman is more likely to be reduced to her genitalia because she's female than a man is likely to be reduced to their genitalia just because they have dared to say, I want to run, I want to represent my people.
Let us harness the power of politics, not for personal gains or partisan interests, but for the betterment of our collective humanity.
If we are to survive as a nation, our elites need to learn that it is in their enlightened self-interest to forge a common consensus that develops the country, grows the economy, secures the people, and protects the rights and enforces the obligations.
Stakeholders see the book as a turning point for adjusting the timeline of politics and balancing the interests of both genders in the quest to conquer all contests in all future elections. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
At the start of the bulletin, we told you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the setting up of a renewed Hope Infrastructure Development Fund, which is expected to bridge the infrastructure deficit. Well, that's part of the outcomes of today's meeting of the Federal Executive Council. Okay, let's hear from our State House correspondent, Musbahu Danwahab, who joins us now for an update. Musbahu, please go ahead.
Thanks a lot for joining us. Now, today, the Federal Executive Council meeting, 10th in the series and 4th for the year, has just ended with a lot of memos been submitted to the Council and some approved. And we have the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, with us to tell us a bit of those memos approved for today, particularly the approval of Mr. President for the setting up of a National Infrastructure Development Fund, which will be coming up very soon. It will be launched by the President himself. But now let's get from the Honorable Minister what this fund is being targeted at. Honorable Minister, thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, this seems to be a laudable initiative by this administration. Can you tell us a bit more about this?
Well, first and foremost, we all know the enormous deficit in terms of infrastructure that we all have in this country. And government, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu thinks it necessary to have a creative way out of the situation. A study has been done, and it was established that for Nigeria to really bridge this gap, there is a requirement of about 875 billion naira dollars that is required in the next between 2016 and 2040, a period of about 25 years or so, to bridge this gap. And therefore, what that means is that this fund is now being established. There is an attempt to spend about $35 billion annually to go into infrastructure so that Nigeria will fix roads, Nigeria can build bridges, Nigeria will fix hospitals, the telecommunication industry will also be revamped, the power sector will also have some chunk of that. The whole idea is to ensure that the deficit that is being suffered by this country in terms of infrastructure is being significantly bridged. I recall that the President himself, while he was a governor of Lagos State, attempted this. Now Lagos is about the 5th largest economy in Africa. It is the kind of initiative that the President is also bringing to the federal government now to ensure that Nigeria has this infrastructure in abundance, so that the kind of economic prosperity that all of us desire to have will be in sight for all Nigerians.
Right, Mr. Minister, congratulations on the rescue of the students in Kaduna State who were returned to the States just yesterday. I'm aware that developments came up from the council. What is the position of the president now, and what about those who perpetrated this act? What is the government doing about that?
Well, you know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has since taken a stand on the payment of ransom, and he has also taken a stand that all those who have been kidnapped in this country, he will do as much as possible to ensure that they come back and reunite with their families. It is heartwarming that these children, the ones in Kuriga and the ones in Sokoto, have been brought back to safety without the payment of ransom. Mr. President has thanked the National Security Advisor. He has also thanked the security agencies for this feat. He has also charged them that they should ensure that no such kidnappings are allowed to happen within the Nigerian territory again. And all those who have been kidnapped will be brought back to their families. And Nigeria is a great country. We should not allow criminals to continue to take over our territories. Criminals should not determine the way that we live our lives. And we all know that these criminals are not just waging a physical war against us, they are also waging a psychological war. And therefore, he has charged all Nigerians, especially members of the Nigerian media, to ensure that in the way they report about this kidnapping, care is taken to be very patriotic, to be very focused about national development, to put the country first, because these criminals don't wish us well. And we'll fish them out, we'll bring them to book. All those that are kidnapped will be brought back to justice, or be brought back to their families, rather.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, for your time. Let's also let you know that the Council also approved the Economic Council team task force, which will begin operation soon. All of this is just to see that the economy of the country is re-engineered for better prosperity and development of the country. We'll bring you details of this in our subsequent bulletins.
Thank you very much, Musbahu, our State House correspondent, giving us insight, part of the outcomes of the Federal Executive Council meeting earlier today. We turn to other issues. There is a city in Nigeria where every male child is a potential king. Well, this is due to the unique chieftaincy system of installing a royal father, which has no rancor or competition. In this report, Oyeyinka Omole unravels this ancient city in southwest Nigeria.
Best described with its brown roofs and home of many firsts in Nigeria, Ibadan, the capital city of Oyo State, has from time immemorial renowned for its uniqueness in installing the paramount ruler of the ancient city, Olubadan of Ibadan land, on rotational basis from two lines. These are Otun Line, also known as Civil Line, and Balogun Line, called Military Line.
Hardly you will find a place in this country that we have people, when monarch is departed, and you have another one that will not be any fight. But in Ibadan, we don't have such a thing. There is a regulation, there is a line, the next person know himself. I think it's a very good idea.
Supposing you become a dragon at the age of something like 40. Before you can get past the stages to the level of being an Oba, it will be going to around 70 or 80 years old. So that has been the reason why young people like 50 years can never be king of Yoruba, because it has been tradition.
Acceptance of a male child from a family compound, as the Mogaji qualifies him to join any of the two lines starting from Jagun, subject to vacancy, and these steps take more than 35 years in waiting to become Olubadan. In Ibadan, Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
Quite interesting. Let's join Oyeyinka now in Ibadan to give us more insight. We join her live from the ancient city of Ibadan. Please, Oyeyinka, I'm actually curious to understand this age-long tradition, so please tell us about it.
Thank you, Ruth. As you rightly said, it's very interesting here in Ibadan. We are attaining the stool of Olubadan of Ibadan land comes with no rancor, no competition, no litigation, because the chieftaincy laws has been clearly stated. Recently, the 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Mahud Olaleko Balogun, joined his ancestors, and since his burial, attention has been shifted to the house of the Olubadan designate without any complaint from any quarters. And trying to find out what is unique about these traditional ways of doing things in Ibadan land, I brought here the Maye Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oloye Lekun Alabi, who is going to shed more light on the uniqueness of Ibadan traditional system.
Good evening.
Yes, tell us about the uniqueness of Ibadan traditional system.
Thank you very much. When you say something is unique, it is peculiar to a place or people. The succession system in the Ibadan traditional chieftaincy line is unique, and when the colonialists came here, they asked our forefathers who taught them this unique system. Unique in the sense that the incumbent Olubadan knows the next 10 juniors after him. As you said, seamless, no rancor or qualms. That's why it's been applauded over the years, not only by we, the indigenous of Ibadan land, even by foreigners and other Nigerians who sometimes will moan out and say, wish their towns or kingdoms could copy our system.
Now, according to history, we have two lines of Olubadan and Balogun that can ascend the Olubadan throne. How many steps?
Thank you very much. Two lines lead to the exalted Olubadan throne. And they are the Balogun line, which is the military line, and the civil line, which is the Olubadan line. Without being modest, I belong to the Olubadan line. And we alternate. The 42nd Olubadan, who has just joined his ancestors, may God rest his soul, came from the Olubadan line. So the personnel rotates and goes to the Balogun line.
Okay.
Yes.
And we have like how many steps?
On the Balogun line, there are 23 steps.
All right.
After being Mogaji, that is the head of your indigenous family in the city. On the Olubadan line,
we sincerely appreciate you, sir. This is how far rather we can go on this live uplink.
Thank you very much, Oyeyinka, for unraveling that special and unique culture of succession. All right, let's touch another beautiful city, Port Harcourt, and Jenny is standing by for some reports.
Thank you very much, Ruth. The federal government has given 1 week ultimatum to the contractor handling Port Harcourt Abbas section of Port Harcourt Enugu Highway to make it motorable for road users. Minister of Works David Omahi gave the directive during a walking visit to some project sites in Rivers State. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
Port Harcourt Abbas section of the highway remains a critical gateway connecting the south-south and southeast states. This visit is the 7th time the minister is inspecting the road. This underscores the importance of the intervention by President Bola Tinubu in response to the concern of road users following its deplorable state. The minister, who is happy with the quality of work done by the contractor, however, directed immediate work on the failed portions from Port Harcourt to Aba Lane in 1 week to make it motorable.
I'm giving them 99.9% in terms of their performance. They had completed 9 kilometers from the Chennai Zero, and so we want them to join another 4 kilometers, left and right. And I've given 7 days for this particular lane, that is the Aba-bound lane, to be totally repaired to ameliorate the sufferings of the commuters.
At the Eleme One axis of the east-west road, the minister expressed concern over the slow pace of work and directed officials of the Federal Ministry of Work to update him weekly as the job progresses, warning against consequences when the rain set in. So far, about 5.7 of the 15 kilometers of the failed portion of the road have been excavated with interventions to make it motorable.
We've put first layer of stone base for 4.6 kilometers. Second layer is 3.4 kilometers. And presently, we opened it for traffic for about 5 days, so it gets the maximum stabilization.
The minister was accompanied on the road inspection by former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Ayim Pius Ayim, and former PDP spokesman, Olisa Metu, who commended the president's intervention on roads in the region. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Ruth is back to you in Abuja.
Thank you, Jenny. Let's do sports update.
Team Nigeria finished second in its just concluded African Games in Accra, Ghana, with 47 gold, 33 silver, and 40 bronze medals to finish behind eventual winners Egypt. However, the eye-catching performances of Team Nigeria, especially in athletics, wrestling, weightlifting, and boxing, has continued to draw commendations from Nigerians who expect the athletes to replicate the results in the forthcoming Olympics in Paris.
So early preparation, 1, 2, funding of those sports, 2, we help very much. When you put money into the right channels, exposure for all the athletes, we give us great medals. And Olympic, I can assure you that this time around the Olympic in Paris 2024, watch out for Team Nigeria.
Nigeria participated in 25 sporting events in Accra, Ghana. Overall winners, Egypt will host the prestigious African Games 2027. In tennis, Andy Murray was knocked out of the Miami Open after a dramatic 5-7, 7-5, 7-6 last 32 defeat to Markach. The Briton secured his breakpoint to take 6-5 lead in the opening set before serving out to Love. But Markach hit back to win second set and then closed the match on a third set tiebreak, having previously been broken when serving to progress. In the women's category, American Coco Gauff progressed to the round of 16 with a 6-3 win over Sean Durden. Third seed Gauff will face Caroline Garcia, who defeated Japan's Naomi Osaka. With sports update, Austin Ejemodu, NTA News.
And we're done with Nationwide. Do have a beautiful evening. I'm Ruth. Bye.